reward that's being offered. Police have received virtually no anonymous tips. But why?
Yeah, a lot of people wondering how effective those rewards really are, and are they really anonymous?
Yeah, that's the subject of tonight's cover story with James Ford.
My heart was broken. I couldn't believe it. So
we want the world to see that this is a family that has been touched, that has been treated unfairly by criminals.
For the last 3 days, it's been very clear that the effects are great and lasting after somebody fired a gun whose stray bullet killed 12-year-old Deja Joyner. And now there's a big reward to find who was shooting at a young man in front of Deja's home here in Hempstead, missing its intended target and hitting the girl who was just hanging out in her living room. The reward is $75,000.
With these young people now, they got this no snitch thing or whatever, and it's something that they seem to respect.
He's one of two people who run this nonprofit that connects Hempstead community groups with people in that village. The other person who runs it talks about one big challenge in the wake of Deja's tragic death.
If there are those involved or someone that know, do they feel that their life is worth it? Because, you know, snitching could cost your life.
So even with $75,000 cash on the table, nobody's come forward.
This isn't one of those cases that you should actually need money.
Criminology professor Joe Giacalone is a veteran detective sergeant and former director of NYPD Crime Stoppers, so he definitely understands how rewards for crime tips work.
Well, rewards helped, in my experience, about 75% of the time.
So it's worth pointing out that Unabomber Ted Kaczynski was caught after killing 3 people in bombings over 17 years through a tip from his brother, who collected the $1 million reward. But the bomber of the Times Square military recruiting station and other sites in Midtown remains on the loose 7 years later, despite this.
We have increased the reward amount to $115,000.
But again, no leads. How to prevent Deja's case from becoming like that? Changing this could help.
I went right to the Nassau County Crime Stoppers website, and this case is not the first case on there. As a matter of fact, I don't see the case on there at all.
And knowing what anonymous means, truly means, could help also.
They will issue you a code number. So the only way that they will ever get in contact with you, or you can ever get paid even, is if you call back with the code number. There's no way that the police can track you down. And it is built that way for a reason, so that nobody gets hurt giving up information.
The same rules apply for texted in or emailed tips. And we have been pointing out all weekend long that there was another homicide, apparently targeted homicide, on this same block 2 years ago. There was an arrest, but that person ended up being acquitted. So it remains an unsolved case. The big hope, and that's a big reason why we see such a big reward here.
Right.
The big hope is that this not end up like that case. So we're going to give out that number again, 800-244-TIPS.
You said you learned something doing this story today. What was it?
The absolute anonymity. In fact, it might help police.
Because that's been a question. That's a question.
It definitely is.
Right.
And it might help police departments to not say you will remain anonymous. What they probably should say is the police never ever know who you are.
Right.
It's done by
it never
a
even
second
gets to the
party.
police. Okay.
That's correct. Name, contact, none of that
I learned
ever goes to the
That's
police.
Good to know.
Okay.
All right, James, good to see you. Thank you.